Hello and welcome to the Writecome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode from Writecome.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled Advice to a Millionaire. Now, the other day I was listening to an episode of Alex Hormozi's podcast, The Game it's called. Now, I don't know how old this episode was, but he was just mentioning at the time that he was kind of stuck at a kind of a certain income. I don't know what it was. It was a lot of money anyway. It's a lot more money than I make per year anyway. But he was stuck at this kind of income, and he was just asking around, is there any way I can kind of break through this ceiling to, earn more? How can I do it? Now, I don't know whether he had mentioned that he'd been talking to a millionaire or a billionaire, whoever it was, but they had said to him, if he wants to earn more money, he needs to build a bigger community. Now, that probably seems like common sense, but it's probably something that me or you probably doesn't really think about much. We think about selling products, we think about maybe getting people on email lists, but we never really think about building a community, like a big, huge tribe. Because when you think about it, the bigger the tribe you have, the bigger your community, the kind of more powerful you are. In that, when you look at somebody like the Kardashians now, I don't know if you're a fan of the Kardashians or not. Frankly, myself, I don't think I've actually sat down and watched an episode of it, so I can't really say much about them. But it doesn't really take much for them to mention something on a TV show, for them to send out a tweet or, something on Instagram or whatever. And then all of a sudden, then that product is just flying off the shelves, or they have a new income stream. And it's just simply because they have a huge community on tap. And again, too, when you look at Hollywood, someone who I admire greatly is The Rock. Now, you would never call The Rock, he's not a Daniel Day-Lewis. He isn't the greatest actor in the world. He knows what he does, and he does great work in that kind of level that he's at. But again, too, he's got a huge community that he can tap on whenever he wants to. He only has to mention on Instagram that he's got a new movie on Netflix, or he just needs to go on a TV show and he's guaranteed an audience to show up and watch him, or whatever he does. But he's got a huge community on tap. That when he has got anything new coming out, new movies or anything like that, that audience is just straight over buying the tickets and, selling out his movie. And again, too, you've got something like Gary Vee. Gary Vee is popular on a load of platforms, so he has a huge community. Now, he doesn't do a lot of selling on it, but when it comes to him releasing a new book, or when it comes to him maybe, getting involved in some kind of scheme, whether that's cryptocurrency or whether that is maybe giving a talk at a local university or whatever, that will just sell out in minutes or even seconds, because people are great fans of Gary, who want to be seen with him, who want to get pictures taken with him, who maybe want to ask him a question or advice or whatever. But because he has a huge community, he can call on that at any moment to help him out, whatever products he's doing or promotion work or whatever. He has that huge community on tap. So that's what I want you to think about. And I'm also thinking about myself. While I do a lot of writing and I collect a lot of email addresses over on the Writecome site, it's probably something that I probably need to focus on more. Even though I do post maybe a lot of content on TikTok and places like that, I'm kind of thinking about that, building a larger community. Now, this community isn't one that you can call on that is going to send you money all the time. But even if you had that community just to promote your latest product, or to give you some book reviews, or to mention you on different platforms, can you imagine how powerful that would be, just to have all these, free kind of salespeople working on your behalf, promoting your work and getting you in front of a larger audience. So whatever you're doing right now, maybe it's time to think about a community, not only your products and your services, but is there any way maybe you can build a little bit of a community around what you do? Whether that is building maybe a little bit of an audience on Facebook, on Instagram or whatever. But what I recommend if you are building a community is, while it's all good and well putting content on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, at the end of the day, you don't own any of those platforms. And unfortunately, it only takes the click of a mouse for somebody to close down your Instagram account or your TikTok TikTok account or whatever, and then suddenly you've lost that audience. So if you are trying to build a community or an audience on any of those platforms, do make sure that you are directing as much of that traffic and those people back to your website as possible, so that you can get them to have a look at content that you control, so that you can maybe grab their email addresses. So it only takes an email sent out to that list then to do any promotion work or to mention anything that you do. So if that is what Alex Hormozi is doing, because he is a multimillionaire and he's trying to move beyond his kind of income stream, well, then it does probably make a lot of sense that you and I should also be thinking about building a larger community to help our income streams and to protect our businesses in the future. So as always, if you'd like to find out more about Rightcom, or if you want to maybe subscribe to the podcast episode here, I'm sure you'll probably find a subscribe button close by. Or if you'd like to head over to Rightcom, that's WRITECOME.com. And at the moment I have I've got a free blueprint over on the Rightcom site, which is called How to Become an Online Celebrity. Now, if you are looking to become an online celebrity, because maybe that would be helpful to you building that community, head on over to Rightcom, again, WRITECOME.com, put your details into the opt-in page, and I will send that report directly on to you. So as always, have a lovely day. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Rightcom.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.